Hi, guys. Welcome back to my weekly Facebook Live show. I'm Jen Burson. I'm the founder and president of Generation PR. We are a full service PR and social media management, content creation agency, influencer engagement agency firm. And we specialize in promoting baby and kids beauty and cosmetics and health and wellness. And I'm laughing because my dog thinks I'm talking to her. I was out at a school breakfast function for my son's school and ran in the door so that I could be here on time. And my dog is like, is it our time to WALK? She's soon going to learn how to spell. So, oh, I love my sleigh mug. This mug came from one of the women that I worked with very, very early in my coaching business when I was kind of supporting people wherever I could and teaching them how to do their own PR for their own brands. And this designer that helped me with one of my early proposal decks that we won, one of our best clients ever. She designed the deck for me. She was doing really cool mugs and t-shirts and things that print on demand kind of stuff. And she was like, I was showing her my deck, she was putting all the information in and was like, well, besides graphic designer, I also have a side business where I have these products. And I said, well, do this, do that, and then do this, and you'll, have the best shot of getting into magazines. And right now is holiday gift guide time. So she actually was able to get an Essence magazine for their holiday gift guide with this mug. And I always think of her, Sherry, when I drink. And also it's just a really good mug. So let me know who's here. Thank you for being here. And I am going to jump right into our topic today. Let me know, do you know a lot about media monitoring? When you hear it, do you think of Google alerts, or what are you thinking, or what comes to mind, or what efforts do you make to monitor mentions for clients and make sure that you're not missing anything? We had a call yesterday for the Pitch Lab, which is my membership all around pitching the media, looking to help you become a pitching powerhouse. And oh my God, it was such a good call. We were sharing so many resources and just blown away by how savvy the group is and how much they're willing to share about things that are working, contacts, resources, tools, and programming and things they're using. And one of the things that we were talking about is how we will sometimes pitch on a Haro query, or we will send a pitch to an editor and it's very complete and has everything they need, and they sometimes just don't even get back to you. But then the Google alert or the media alert monitoring that you have set up will just ping, and there there's a mention that you secured that you didn't even know was going to come because nobody got back to you. So it's always weird. And we always want to catch those. Let me know if you have this feeling where you have those alerts kind of come through and you want to see it before the client does so that you can present it to them and show them so they're aware that it came from your pitching and your efforts, and it's not just like a lucky organic placement, because you want credit for that, right? You want to make sure they know that was you. And I get really frustrated when the client's like, oh yeah, we saw it on social. And I'm like, ugh. We love to be the one to be like, hey, guess what? Because sometimes you worry they'll think oh, they didn't know this was coming, and so they didn't have a hand in this. So let me know if that rings a bell, because my team's always like, darn it, I was waiting for that one, and they saw it before I did, because clients are watching too. So we want to talk about media monitoring and why it is so crucial. Oh, they know, Jane. Hi, Jane. Thanks for being here. She's like, tip number 1, don't tell clients about Google alerts. They know, especially my younger clients, with marketing teams that have younger, savvy, millennial age people. They are all over it. and you're like, damn it, I know they're going to see this. Or when a brand, like a media mention tags them on social, or an influencer tags them on social, and you're like, ugh, I wish I knew about it first. It's just frustrating because then they're like, oh yeah, I already saw that. And it's the excitement is kind of lessened. But we're going to talk about how to monitor for digital and print, and 3 reasons why it's critical to effective PR, and how you can really quickly and easily analyze your clients' features. So we know it's all about, when I mentioned, it's like credit. Yeah. Oh, tell us more about the Forbes feature. So Jane and Serena are both in our Pitch Lab programs, our Agency Accelerator. So I know them both very well. And Serena, I did not hear about, did we hear about the Forbes feature for your client? Was this recent? Tell me more about that. I want to know more about that. That's a big, big one. I didn't know about my Forbes feature. It was years ago. Yeah, I would love to know more about it. Which client? And that's great. Congratulations. Obviously, they knew. Oh, very cool. Okay, awesome. They know that came from you. But my own Forbes feature, I just pitched the writer, and I said, how about I write, gave her a concept. I said, how about I write that up for you? And she said, sounds good. That's all I heard. She was a contributor. And then I wrote up everything that I thought she would want to include. And then I got a Google alert that weekend that I was in Forbes. And I was like, oh my God, she never even said she was going to run it or when she was running it. And I looked at the article, and it was literally like, we interviewed Jen Burson, and here are her tips for DIY PR for entrepreneurs. And it was verbatim, and my picture and it was fantastic. Linking back to my website, it was great. And that was one of those, early features that really helped generate a lot of momentum for my business. Not early, but more on the coaching side, teaching people how to do PR for themselves. And it's still up, and I do get people saying, oh, I read an article that you wrote on Forbes, which was very cool. And so on that note, I will say we should all be doing our own media outreach. Publications your ideal clients are reading in your various niches, thought leadership. Case in point, Jane has her own publication. She's the owner of a beauty trade B2B publication. And, she's able to really connect with the ideal clients for her business and her niches because she's writing about them in her own publication. And it's a great way to get to know companies and for them to get to know her expertise. And she is an authority in the space because she is a curator and an editor of top beauty industry newsletter, not newsletter, but trade publication. So it's a great way to establish that authority. And we should all be sharing our expertise in various outlets, on a podcast. This is how you're getting yourself out there, establishing your expertise, showing prospective clients what it is that you know, and borrowing someone's audience, obviously. So I hope you're all doing your own media outreach. And anytime you're like, I haven't had anything in a while, get out there and do a round and pitch. Podcasts are really fun and easy. Anyway, okay, so PR is our goal for Earned Media is to get our clients out there, get their message out there, great brand awareness, all the things that we know our clients are looking for. And we want all of our placements and the features we're getting to align with the strategy that we've put in place to help our clients achieve their goals and objectives. So they come to us and they say, here's what we're looking to do, or we're launching a product or a brand. We want visibility. We want some exposure for the founders of the company, whatever it is, and you come up with a strategy and you want the features you're getting to align with that approach. And positive sentiment. So keep the client positioned in the best light possible. And so the best way to sort of track, like, are we successful? Is this actually working? The most effective way to show clients that, yes, we are, it's all working, right? KPIs, whatever you guys establish, you want to do media monitoring to ensure that you are successful. Like, a lot, we talk a lot about like misaligned expectations and what do clients expect. And we think we're doing a great job. And we're like, look at all the things. And they say, well, we're disappointed. So first we get aligned on the expectations, and then we want to track and show them, look what I did, like, gold star for me, we did this. So sophisticated media monitoring will help analyze all of your clients' media mentions, understand how they're faring with the media. And I know it sounds kind of intimidating because you're like, all the media out there, like, what if I miss stuff? Or what if, there's things I don't know about, or they see it before I do, like I mentioned, or, it's a lot to sort of weed and wade through, but there are easier ways to do it. There are tools out there. So we're going to dive into the ins and outs and talk about why media monitoring is important, what even is it, and how you can make sure that you never miss a mention or a media insight again. So first and foremost, what is it? It's just that. Media monitoring is keeping an eye on all the different media. So media, obviously plural for medium. Medium is one. Media, plural. So it's all of the things: radio, podcast, TV, print, digital, influencer, social, all of the various places that could be discussing your client, tracking where and what are they saying about your client. And you can also use media monitoring to track your niche as a whole, which is really cool because you can see what the competitors are up to, not just looking at their social and seeing what they're posting or looking at their press page, but seeing what the media is truly saying about your clients' competitors, the whole niche. So monitoring trends industry-wide that you can keep up on to be top of your game as you represent your clients, and other topics of interest, like if there's some technology your client is considering using and you're considering using, you want to see, like, what do people think of this right now? Is this worth the investment? Should I be looking into this or thinking of something else? Like, media monitoring will show what the sentiment and the news is that's out there. So it used to mean back in my day, when we first got started, I spent a lot of time at the newsstand, and we would physically flip through publications and look at newspapers, look at actual magazines. Maybe we would cut out those articles or the excerpts of the articles that talked about the client. We pasted them in a book. Jane, I know you remember. So it's funny. I mean, I have books and books and books of physical copies of mentions that I would then scan and provide to clients. And I have all of my original, like, media mentions in binders in the garage, and it's nostalgia, right? But that's how we used to do it. And now with so many digital outlets and, obviously podcasting digital, Jane's like, oh yeah. We're keeping track of digital, obviously a lot easier to find. And Jane is saying all copyright violations, but you can't just have a copy in a binder in your home. Like, how is that a violation? I bought the publication and I guess I'm not really using it anywhere. Those are old. But yeah, Jane, what she's referring to is literally any even in an internal sales presentation, there was a precedent with a legal case that had a company's internal sales, let's say it's a proposal or a, capability stack included some of their media features, and they got sued. And that's a very extreme precedent. And she errs on the side of extreme caution. The big case was a clip book between the agency and the client. So you see how it was never public. And how that publisher found out about that, I have no idea. Somebody ratted them out. I don't know. Because we all do it. How else are you going to show the work that you secured, all in one convenient place? But technically, you're supposed to license that content. Usually licensing is for outward facing promotional purposes, social media amplification, things like that. And that's coming up more and more. This is the only example of this that I've ever heard. This is extremely extreme, if you ask me. But that's a proceed with caution. And what we have seen a lot of lately in terms of copyright violations are brands using media logos in their social. Oh, yeah. But then all the consumer brands had their press books at the department store cosmetics counters. Yeah. And point of purchase displays and little, foam core easel back. We used to do those for clients too. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was like a risk, right? And some clients still do that, but they're coming around with their compliance departments, and they will, especially if your client is throwing some ad spend behind an ad where they've been featured somewhere, and they're licensing it or they're running it without the proper license, they can get in a lot of trouble, or they will be notified by the licensing department of a publication, and they'll say, pay me. And your client can work that out. So whenever we turn over press clips, we always tell our clients, we don't own the rights to this and you don't either. And if you want to use it, you have to just know that you could be opening yourself up to some challenges. But anyway, that's, everybody's risk tolerance level is a little bit different. Some people say ask for forgiveness, not permission. Jane errs on the side of extreme caution because she's been in the industry a long time and she knows publishers have deep pockets, and they now have departments dedicated to coming after us if we do these things. So the only time that's happened to me, knock on wood, was a Getty image, and man, are they aggressive. And there's whole Reddit, subreddits, blogs dedicated to how awful Getty Images is. And they will hound you and threaten you until you pay them. They'll say, let's settle. And it's really annoying. So I used a picture of a blogger going like this, taking her own selfie, and on a LinkedIn blog post, and they came after me, which was super annoying. Okay, back to media monitoring. So if that comes up for you, proceed with caution. I love the idea of tracking your niche as a whole, tracking your competitors. And now with digital mentions, you can check online publications, social media, blogs, podcasts, influencer posts, radio, all of the sort of digital, non-tangible features. And what I love, actually, so I'm an ambassador for Prowly, love Prowly. They can, they and other online software tools can do this for you. And it will save you tons and tons of time, especially if you are managing a lot of clients and monitoring a lot of different things. It's so valuable. I'm going to post a link a couple times here. Here is my link for Prowly. Like I said, I'm a brand ambassador for them. If you decide you want to try it, there's a free trial. Sign up with that link. I would really appreciate it. And if you do end up paying for a membership, I do get an affiliate commission, but it's because I love it. We believe in it. Our team uses it. So that used with that, take that with what you will. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so media monitoring is not just collecting your clients' mentions and then just moving on. Truly effective media monitoring will include some kind of data and analysis of that mention too. So if you're reading it or you're listening to a mention, you will carefully see not just what was said, but the feeling behind it, the sentiment. What's the general tone? Is it positive for your brand or negative for your client's brand? Were there any specific criticisms offered? We have clients that have had overall very positive, sometimes their physical product reviews will have pros and cons, which is really great because it gives our client insight into what professional testers feel about certain key features of their product. But it also shows the overall sentiment for the brand in the media. And this is also really important for those mentions that you didn't secure. Like maybe there's a customer social media post or an influencer mention. We just saw an influencer mention for my client with the breast pump, and the person that was reviewing it, we had nothing to do with them. It came up on our radar and we made sure the client saw it. But her complaint was really not about the client's actual product, but the type of breast pump and all of the brands as a whole that have that type of breast pump. It's like one of those wearables. You put it in your bra cups and it collects milk. I'm like, collects milk inside the actual container itself. It's automatic. There's like, it's a whole new category called wearables. And she was a breastfeeding lactation consultant, and she just doesn't like the wearables category, but she used our client's new launch to talk about how much she dislikes that type of product in the first place. We thought that that was very important for our client to see. And when you start to analyze more and more of these various mentions, you get a better sense of the general consensus about your client. You can adjust your strategies accordingly. So she gave a lot of insight into why she doesn't like it. And we can then take that information and say, okay, maybe that's valid for the category as a whole, but how do we do it better? And point that out. So even though it was really negative, it wasn't negative specifically for the product or the company. It was negative for that entire category. And there are ways we can take that negative sentiment and flip it to show our client in a more positive light. So that's very insightful, right? And that came up in media monitoring. So why is media monitoring important? Number one is it'll let you spot PR problems before they turn into crises. So it could be a negative review. It happens. Negative reviews for customers are very, very common. It happens, here and there, and your clients should have a process for quickly addressing them. But if there are a slew of negative reviews all at once, something might be up. And when that happens, you can dig into each mention and figure out exactly what's going on, start building a strategy right away, and you can help your clients. And this is how a crisis comms team would jump in quickly and help the client mitigate any damage that this negativity will do to your client's brand and can possibly prevent a full-blown crisis before it happens. This is where you're stepping in to be proactive versus just reactive. Like, this is coming at us and like now we're, putting out fires everywhere. So close media monitoring will give you and your client a bit of buffer time to really dig into the issue and thoughtfully compose a response that shows that they are taking accountability, that they're handling it, what they're doing. So it's like owning the challenge or whatever the problem is that everyone's experiencing, and proactively coming out and saying, here's what we are going to do. We've got you, like customer safety at most importance, or behavior of our team, or somebody posting something on social. Like this happened with, you guys, do you remember Ulta? And oh my God, I can't even say it. It was so bad. It was the Kate Spade perfume launch. Oh my God. And somebody put it in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. Jane absolutely knows what I'm talking about. I think Serena does too. It was horrible. So your findings from this blip, this negative, like what's going on, can really help inform your strategies going forward too, so that you're, Serena's like, oh yeah, they were talking about the new Kate Spade like fragrance launch, and they said, come hang out with us. It said hang with Kate Spade. It was horrible. Like, oh my God. So you're going to know like what warning signs pop up. Maybe there's another little mini crisis that you're like, okay, we're ready. We've got a plan, or we know how our values as a company dictate that we are going to step in and handle this. Just incredible in the worst way possible, and you can see what the client's audience wants to see from them. So this is an opportunity to take a really potentially negative situation and turn it into a positive, where someone will say, you know what, that thing that happened was horrible, or I don't like it, or it's not what I would expect from this company, but the way they handled it made me love them even more. And we've all had things like this with companies, brands we love, either handle it really poorly, or, Adidas, Yeezy, Kanye, not good. They're still reeling from that fallout, not just because of the end of the partnership, but because of the way they were so slow to react. And we've seen companies handle things very well, and you go, wow, that really sucked, but like, I love how they came and stepped in, full ownership, full responsibility, and had a plan in place that seemed like the right thing to do. That's where product recalls come in, things like that. But, and you can make sure that you're putting something out that aligns with your client's audience and what they want to see from them, and they'll continue to shop with their values and support this brand. And you can help them do that. So number 2, why media monitoring is really important is because you're going to know if your strategies are effective. It's especially important after a big campaign or like a really big feature like Serena's Forbes, tracking that mention, learning in real time how their audience is reacting. And if that strategy, your campaign, had its intended effect. So if one specific post is really working, clients can see, wow, that influencer really has alignment with like our ideal audience. Whatever she says, they buy. And we want to work with her more because she's moving the needle. We can see that she's really getting them to take action. It's not just like a feature or mention, but truly one where the audience's response is a call to action and then they do it. So you can focus more on that the next time around. And then on the flip side, if you start doing a whole bunch of things and you're tracking and there's not a lot happening and you can see it's not working for your client's audience, then that's something you're going to avoid in the future. Like our client had a big paid media budget, not pay to play like shady, like Instagram DM, like want to be in Forbes? Well, you only pay if I get you mentioned. And then they're buying wholesale from a contributor whose vertical is going to get canceled in 4 minutes and your client wasted their money because the article disappears. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking working with a publisher and they have your ideal target audience. That's their readership. They have reach on social. They have a newsletter, and you're talking about like some kind of an integration. So we had a client who had a 6-figure budget for one publication that we went all in on. Wasn't our recommendation. They wanted to test out this year-long partnership. Guys, are you ready for this? This is like in a bad way. Just incredible, like the Ulta thing, but not as bad. They spent just over $100,000, and when we got on the recap call, the team over there was like, wow, the campaign outperformed. Like, the numbers are small. We know like open rates and click-through always like 0.05, 0.08, whatever. And the client was like, in the entire year we worked together, we can attribute 3 sales to our efforts with you. So they're done. They're not going to do it anymore. And the sales team was like, well, let's come up with some new, oh, you want conversions? Like, yeah, no kidding. We want conversions. That's what paid media, earned media. We're not responsible for sales. We're responsible for visibility. Paid media, if they can track, who clicks through, who's converting. And they were like, oh, that would have been a different metric. It's like, don't you think a brand is going to pay for your audience because they want them to buy their products? So, and they were, promotions and things that were all centered around getting people to take action and buy. So that was not effective. So all the metrics, they could paint them, slice them, dice them any which way. The proof is in the pudding. Nobody bought. So they're not actually as influential with that audience. And you know what? When it's a baby and kids publication, I might be on their list. I haven't had a baby in 10 years. So am I going to go buy a baby monitor? No. So for them having hundreds of thousands of people on their list, if my address is 10 years dated, I'm not a useful contact to them. So, maybe do a smaller test. I should have said, let's not go all in for a year. Let me see. Hold on. So it could also help you understand the ins and outs of your client's audience, what they're engaging with, responding to, what resonates with them. How do they interact with your clients online and in real life? What is that sentiment and the connection? And it goes double if you track your client's competitors as well. So there's likely a major audience overlap. And what works for the competitor's audience may also work for your client's audience. And it's not saying you're going to do exactly the same things that their competitors are doing, but you can gain insight and say, okay, they're getting featured in these kinds of publications, and we can position our client to be the right fit for that publication too. But it's going to be different, but the sentiment is good. The engagement was really good. So we should probably try to work our way in there too. And effective media monitoring lets you hone in on the good to just figure out the not so good and discard it, and continuously increase each client's campaign's impact. So you're testing sentiment, and you're testing what moves the needle, and using those insights to make you better. And then it can also lead to new media contacts, which we obviously love, always cultivating relationships with the media. And before this media monitoring software, there's many that do it. There was a risk that you missed some mentions, whether you weren't looking in the right places, or maybe they weren't mentions that you secured. But when we use Prowly, it's so advanced that that's not an issue, because it'll catch mentions on channels that maybe you overlooked, maybe you previously weren't looking at it, and it can find those features that didn't pop up on your radar for whatever reason. It can find shout outs from micro influencers that weren't on your radar, and that can show we're doing things where because our influencers are not always posting the name of the brand. So we're actually paying somebody to every 24 hours look at all the influencers that we have seeded. And there's not a lot, 20, but it's a lot of accounts to watch. And that's if they're not mentioning by name. We're looking at the visuals of the pictures. But if they tag a brand, if they mention it, it will catch those mentions that maybe you would have missed. And the most important side effect of this is that it'll catch maybe some media contacts that are not already, like they're players in the space that aren't already in your database. And it can lead to somebody that already is a fan or already is aware of your client's products. Maybe they should know about a new launch. Now they're on your radar, and or they're covering your client's competition, and you're thinking, I should know that contact too. Maybe they regularly cover this space, but they haven't featured your client yet, that is somebody you need to know about. And you would find them through media monitoring. Or you can find a blogger or influencer who's not a major fan of your client and slowly work to change that sentiment. Like that, breast pump specialist, the lactation consultant who doesn't like the wearables category, we can reach out to her and say, really appreciate the, how do we say this gently? The uncensored, no, like the, just great feedback, the good, bad, and ugly. And I'd like to address some pieces of it that actually, are addressed in the product itself, and the rest we're going to take back to the brand so they really understand it. True experts, pander, no, a true expert's take and insight into what would improve. They're always looking to improve. They've taken their best products and they've come out with newly redesigned, and they're making their features more user-friendly. We'll take your expertise back to the brand. And now she's like, oh, brand's got our ear. Like, that's a way that you can stick with these people, change the sentiment, which they'll then pass on to their audience, to their readers or their followers on social. That's why people follow lactation consultants, because they want, they want that expertise. Give me one second. I'm just going to see where this takes me. Okay. And then if we're going to talk about tools for using media monitoring tools that will help you with some sophisticated reporting and things for your clients that, will help you stay top of your game. Okay. So simple, easy, obviously, Google Alerts. There's also TalkWalker, which I think is an Australian company. They seem to catch more than Google Alerts does. Let's talk about Prowly, because like I said, we're really checked into it, and we're really all in on it because there's so many things that it does. But this is one thing that they do also very, very well that's part of the platform. So the first thing is, Prowly or Meltwater, Cision, Muckrack use a digital tool, and all of these PR software platforms have this monitoring tool. Like I said, we use Prowly, and I'll drop it in again in case anybody wants to give a free trial. And the team is amazing, and their customer service is incredible, and they'll walk you through and show you every single thing it does, so you know exactly how to optimize your membership or your investment in the platform. So this will take the hassle out of the entire process. Like, they'll catch those missed mentions, analyze the mention sentiment. Clients will say that, and you're like, it's all, for us, it's always all positive for the most part, but there might be bigger companies that you're representing. Maybe they're a public company or they're looking to sell, and you can see sentiment has trended negative and work to change that sentiment through a strategic media outreach campaign. And so it's going to help you demonstrate trends that you can catch and work your way into early. And again, it'll give you also like an estimate of the reach. So what is the client's total reach? Aggregating, what is that word? Aggregating all of the mentions in a certain time period. I'm going to show you, if I can, I logged into Prowly and just kind of show you. But what we do is set up an alert, and you're all set inside Prowly. You start in there by creating an alert. So you can set up an alert for your client's brand name, maybe the name of a specific product or a service that they offer, or somewhat of a more generic search term that could be connected to their brand or product, but also might catch some competitor data in there just to see overall topic sentiment and what are people talking about when it comes to that topic. You probably should spend a little bit of time doing some keyword research and figuring out like search volume, search terms, things that people are looking for that they want to know about in this general like Omnilux LED. I think I can show you an example that they where did it go? I had it set up and now I cannot find it. That they are in the LED face mask space, and they have their certain competitors. So it's like, what are their overall, sentiment for the industry? Maybe there are things people are not loving about. I don't know where it went. It's pulling me to, because I can't do two things at once. But let me pull that one up. I think I can show you this. Might be interesting to see if you guys want to see. Hold on. That, and then hold on one second. Let me just show my screen in the right. There we go. Okay. So now I'm in just the back end on media monitoring. I just did a query on my client's brand name. So it'll show in a certain period of time the number of mentions. It's going to show what the latest mentions are. You can kind of click through. Yeah, well, here it's doing it for you, Jane. She's saying, I don't really understand how to work the sentiment part. For the most part, oh, funny, Shay Elaine, 50% off summer sale. So not all of these are like press features, but I mean, look, we can click through and see, for Robb Report, you want to know something? I did not know about this one. Let me see if our face mask, there's a men's mask in here. That would be so rad. You guys, look at Prowly. Robb Report, men's mask. Hello. Yes, that's so rad. This is a new one I had not seen yet. How rad is that? So Robb Report moves the needle, you guys. It's luxury. People with got some money. That is super rad. I'm very excited. So this is cool because it will catch things that you have not seen. It'll talk about like the domain categories. You can start to see, okay, author, things like that. So you know who to thank, reach out. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. We did not send this person a mask, but we did pitch. So that's awesome. And then, Vogue, 11 best LED masks of 2023. We can click through and see this is Vogue, you guys. And then, hold on. So you guys know I do my own clipping. They will clip it for you too. These all look the same. And then Omnilux Contour. Hi, Vogue, best face mask LED. So we're catching these. This is not coming up for me on Google Alerts. I have to be honest, I have not checked Prowly in a couple days. And so this is really exciting. I mean, come on, you guys. Anyway, so you're seeing Sunday Times Style Beauty winners. Let's see what that has. This is stuff I just haven't seen, but what Sunday Times? Anyway, this is not great. I don't love how that looks, but Omnilux Clear, best wellness game changer. That's pretty cool. So yeah, so you're catching things that you're not seeing on your own. You guys can tell I'm like, I'm so excited. And then, positive sentiment, I guess there were 6 that were neutral. Let's click in and see what those are. Here they're giving add value equivalency. This tends to be a more dated, thank you. Jane's like, more important, how did you get in Robb Report? And congratulations. That was through a freelancer. I'm pretty sure, because that's who we've been pitching. But yeah, the sentiment, reach. There's also these really cool widgets that you can set up for the metrics that are important to you. So I'm having a hard time because I can't see all the things because I have stuff covering my screen. But it'll show like the reach and where you can set the date, custom. There's other widgets that you can add here. I just can't see where it is. Oh yeah, here it is. My button was covered. And then you can do like top mentions, share a voice, sentiment, backlinks, domain rank. So add that widget there. So we're seeing 100,000 to a million, a million to 10 million, 3 of those features. This is great. So now we have domain rank, which you can see at the bottom here, and adding a new widget, let's say a custom metric. What do we want? Let's see, numbers only, description. I'm not going to do that. It's a little advanced for what I'm doing, but domain authority score. Let's do that. And then it'll show you really good domain authority. So, I mean, obviously Vogue, Robb Report, really good. So I'm going to just save these widgets, and then you can, you can refresh the data, and then you can take this and put it into a report, and obviously click through, clip it, create a clip here. Super, super cool. Which I feel like they're obviously catching top tier mentions. Like that is chef's kiss. But being able to see it in real time, track it, look at the whole, year, it's going to take a minute to pull in the data, but we can tell it's going, the sentiment overall is going up, up, up. Like I see the lines since we came in, it's like, which is awesome. So love that. And let me go back here to my notes for you. So you're doing keyword research, and then you can go in. That was one report that I set up for my client's brand name. That's it. You can go in and do keyword searches after you've done your research. You know what their shoppers tend to search for in order to find those products, or what competitors are their closest competitors, and see where they're being featured, and just industry trends as a whole. So it's important to set up the ones, and you can do it under projects. So I have an Omnilux project, and then I can set up those keyword searches and competitor research there so that it's not merging in to the metrics that I'm tracking for the brand itself. It's just other information that it's pulling in so that I don't have to be searching all the time. And I'm telling you, Google is not catching all this stuff. So, and then number 3, you got to let that software do its job, and you get these alerts set up. It takes a little bit of time, but not much. And you start to see what it can do. And then you're like, what would be really interesting to know? This direct competitor that launched a product a week ago, similar to the one that we're coming out with in a month, I want to see what their launch reporting looks like. And you can see all of that. So your alert is set up. Prowly is going to start monitoring the media for any mention of that phrase. So again, it could be your competitors. And as the mentions come in, they will go into that dashboard, and you can click through them, get those insights that Prowly can pull, the feature sentiment, the reach, the outlets rank, all of those things. And, it'll just continue to kind of build on that list depending on the time period that you pick. So you can choose anything from the last month, when you do your reporting, or the last year if you want to do an end of year report. And each alert has its own dashboard inside of Prowly where you can see the combined analysis of all of those mentions. So the dashboard, which I love, is so customizable for what's important to the client, and adding those widgets so you can show those most important stats to your client, get a screen grab or download a report, however you want to present it to them. But now you're adding some insight in sophistication and catching things early and able to glean those insights. So you can do an end of month report and send off all the results you got and show them, and go a step further and say, what does it say about the work you're doing for the client? Are you aligning with the goals of the campaign? Are you reaching the target customer at those publications, and in what volume? What is the overall sentiment, or what are their competitors doing that you can gain some insight and adapt that for your own strategy? You can show them that stuff. And when you do stuff like this, because clients don't have access to be able to do it in as complete and sophisticated a way that you can with a tool like Prowly or whatever, Muckrack or Meltwater, Cision, you become indispensable. My goal for us is always, healthy client base, serve your clients, strategy, sales, service, scale. And when you serve your clients in a way where you make yourself indispensable, where you're giving them insights and strategies and know-how and access to things and outlets and influencers and media that they can't do on their own, they're never going to let you go. And this data is also really helpful if you are having a slow month. If something is not landing, you can use all of this to say, here's what we tried. And it worked okay, but it's not the results we were expecting. We went into our dashboard and pulled some keyword research, competitor research, and what we're seeing is they're leaning into this aspect of the competitor's product. So we're going to use that and retool our pitch so that we can hit that point and show how we're doing it better, or how ours performs better, or how ours is more effective at a lower price point. Whatever insights you can glean. And now you're showing them, your tools make you more smart, powerful, indispensable. That's the goal. So that's why we love Prowly. That's one like boop little tiny thing. You can also do these really cool customized newsrooms for your clients, and you can have all of their founder bios, brand bios, product images to download. It's like a media room, press releases, latest blog posts, and it looks like it's their press room on their website, but you built it on Prowly, and it's just a subdomain on their website. Super easy, takes you just one time to set it up, and then it's ongoing, pulling in, or you're uploading the things that you want the media to have access to, and now it's like this super sophisticated media room for your clients, and they love it. So before you get your client into these key outlets that their niche is centered around, you need to obviously have a killer pitch. All of these great secret sauce strategies we have in our free PR Insider Secrets Guide. I think those of you who are here probably have already downloaded this 100 times, but for anybody new, I'd love to have you download that. Really good insights. Oops, I put it in there twice. Sorry. Really good insights from successful members of our community. And if you're interested in Prowly at all, let me know. My team can talk you through it. They are offering a free trial, and we love it. It's really good. And that's what I have for you guys today. Just a quickie. I mean, we always think of media monitoring, and it's like we're tracking the outlets that we're working with and searching, like, did it come up? Did it happen or not? And then there's Google Alerts, and it's free. And some of these features with these platforms, we are not, as smaller agency owners, we're not always taking the time to check into what it is and how it can work for us, how it can make us better, how it can make us indispensable, how it can give us insights that we can't just get from Google or from an outlet's, media, their editorial calendar where they list their readership or things like that. And having it all in one place and being able to chart it. You can set it up in a graph or a metric or a pie chart. Like, you can change all of that so that it looks as readable or as sort of data heavy as you want it to look. But these are the things that inform our strategies and make us better and make us truly indispensable to clients. And so whatever platform you're using, I just urge you to really check into all of the power of the tool, and maybe you set up a call with customer service and have somebody, I know Prowly will walk you through it, and your entire team can be on. What I also love is that, well, obviously there's a media contacts database and all that. You can have other people using your sign-in, and your team, you can all have, you don't have to pay for extra seats. It's just get the tool, use it, and they will walk you through and show you how to get the most value and impact. And if you checked it out a while ago and you were like, I tried it, I didn't love it, they have completely revamped it recently. So give it another try. That's what we did. I was like, probably meh. And then when they were like, just check it out, I was like, there's so much good stuff here. So, and we think it is one of the more affordable of the platforms, and their customer service is just, they're young, they're friendly, they're based in Poland, but they always manage to get on the phone whenever I'm like, what time is it there? They're like, oh, 2 a.m. And I'm like, what? But they're great. And they've been very supportive of our community. And so we love them. We love Prowly. So if you have any questions about it, let us know. But that is the power of media monitoring, and use it to make you better and indispensable and a total partner to your clients, where they just can never imagine life without you. So anybody have any questions for me? We just closed our agency accelerator. I know Serena and Jane are on here. They've been in for a while, but we have a new cohort going through, and I'm so grateful for everybody who decided to join us. Already hearing really good feedback. That's always great when people are like, so glad that this is great. I'm so glad I did it. And if you missed it for whatever reason and you're kind of still interested, let us know, because we've had a couple people that for some reason missed it, and they have reached out to my team, and we'll come up with something to support you. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me this week and every week, and have a great rest of your day. Go check out Prowly. If you have any questions, hit me up, and I will see you guys next week. Take care.